Everybody. Hey, what's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Sorry about that.
Oh, you good? You good?
So you said you're just finishing up training?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Just
Um, cool. So we'll walk everyone through the process of the AMA Mondays for everyone who hasn't joined us before. But we've got Caleb Sweethands Plant today, super middleweight contender. AMA Mondays is pretty straightforward. We got the fighter. You ask him questions live. Go ahead and type anything you want answer right now. And I know my man Caleb, you got no filter, so you're going to answer everything that people want to hear.
yeah. Whatever
That's
they.
why,
We're gonna keep
right?
it
That's why
short.
people have been, people have been excited to have you on
Yeah.
and get your answers. But I'll shoot one right now to you to warm you up. We got one through direct message on Instagram. Someone was wondering, what have you been up to since the Porky Medina fight in February? Since that last win.
Yeah, right after took a little bit of time, kick my feet up and just rest the body. I really didn't take any punishment or have any cuts or anything like that, but just, let the body rest for a couple weeks. And then it's just about, staying somewhat active and staying in the gym, staying moving, eating somewhat healthy, keeping the weight low and just keeping in mind the task at hand, which is to become a world champion, multiple-time world champion, unify all that stuff. So, the end goal, I never lose sight of that. So.
All right. Now, we got some questions rolling in. Feel free. You can scroll through and check them out. I see one right now asking you, how long have you been boxing for? So starting at the beginning, we know you're from Tennessee. Tell us about your beginning and how you got started in boxing.
Yeah, I started fighting when I was 9, and I started out kickboxing.
Okay.
And I don't know anybody, who's on here who's familiar with kickboxing, but I was a 5-time world champ, 9-time national champ in kickboxing. I won the IKF World Championships, the WAKO World Championships, just, a lot of tournaments. And but at the same time, I was boxing too. I was kickboxing one weekend, boxing one weekend. My dad was driving me all over the country. My dad would drive me, all the way to Chicago from Tennessee for one 3-round fight that was 2 minutes, 2-minute rounds.
Wow.
Yeah, so he really put a lot into this. It's not like we grew up with a lot or anything. We grew up, things was tough. So I'm forever in debt to my father for that. But yeah, just doing one thing one weekend and doing something the next, staying busy, traveling, just trying to manifest the dream. And we're not there yet. It's a never-ending process, but we're right where we're supposed to be at this point. So.
Okay, talk about the transition. I mean, you're talking about you did kickboxing and boxing. I mean, how difficult was that? Because I know you're a decorated amateur as well. You won Golden Gloves.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you, that transition?
No, because I was so young. It wasn't like I was just set in one way because, I'd be boxing one weekend, kickboxing the next weekend. It's not like I was, kickboxing for years and years and then I had to go to boxing. It would have been tougher that way, but it was such a natural transition for me because I was so young, so it's easier for me to adapt. I wasn't set in stone in just one way. And so it was an easy transition.
Okay, cool. We'll scroll through and see some of these comments. Shout out to Jordan Hardy. Joking a little bit on here.
What's she
Let's see. She said, you're my favorite boxer. I'm wondering if we could meet up.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I've seen her a couple times. I might have to take her out.
Let's see. Box Watch TV says, love how you put it on Truax and DeGale. That's how that warrior attitude. Talk to us about those two guys. I mean, what did you think of that fight? I thought it was pretty underwhelming. We kind of talked about that right after it on the AMA that we had a couple of days after that. But give us your perspective. Two guys that, are towards the top of your division.
Yeah. It wasn't a spectacular fight. It wasn't, anything special. I don't think either guy's really, impressed a whole lot of people. You got to tip your hat off to anybody who gets in the ring. But, at the same time, if we're talking about levels, then, I don't really have to say nothing about that. But, yeah, I thought Caleb Truax won, especially with the point. I thought DeGale was just doing like a lot of running, a lot of holding. He would try to load up with one big shot, and a lot of times he was missing or hitting Caleb Truax's glove. But at the same time, I felt like Truax was letting DeGale hold a lot. He was smothering himself. He was throwing a lot of so, I don't know. It wasn't a great performance from either person. So I don't know.
Okay. A lot of people are asking the same question about your next fight. Do you have any information on, you were in the ring in February. You fought twice last year. Is it a 2-fight plan for 2018 also, or when is your next fight?
Hold up 1 second. I'm gonna try to get a phone charger right quick before it dies.
Okay.
Anybody got a phone charger?
Keep the questions coming, just so you guys know. Go ahead and AMA Mondays. Ask me anything. Caleb's answering all your questions. A lot of people seem to be asking when his next fight is. He's at the gym right now, just finished up training, he said, so we're going to ask him about his next fight.
If I lose you, I'm going to call you right back because my phone going to die here shortly.
Okay, just shoot me a text and then I'll wait for you to get charged back up.
But yeah, as far as fighting this year, we got a couple different ways we're working on for July, August.
Okay.
We've sent Jose Uzagati an offer, so we're gonna see on the reply on that. If that don't work out, then I'll just fight somebody to become the #1 contender because it's vacant, and just wait my time out on this IBF thing. We're gonna talk to the WBA. I'm number 5 about becoming the mandatory for the Tyrone. What's his name with the WBA world title?
Okay.
I got options. I'm trying to get other people to raise their hand and say yeah, because as much as the fans want to see fighters fight, it takes 2 of us. I can't just be the only one raising my hand saying, this or that, I want to fight, blah, blah, blah. It takes 2 people. It don't matter who's better. It's not about who's better. It's about 2 people saying yeah. So that's what I'm waiting on. I hope people can remain patient with me. I'm trying. So just waiting.
So you mentioned Tyrone Zeg. So, I'm assuming you don't care if it's the WBA route or the IBF route, but if there was one guy that you could fight now, you mentioned Uzcategui as well. But is there anyone in particular, one guy that you would want to fight?
Yeah. No, not really. You know what I'm saying? It don't really matter to me what route we take or who we go after or what belt. I'm just interested in fighting. You know what I'm saying? And I think people are starting to realize that with me. I'm not too concerned with who it is or where it is or none of that. I just want to fight. So whoever says yeah first, that's when I'm jumping on.
Okay. Someone mentioned David Benavidez. I know you guys met up in person not too long ago. How was that interaction, that exchange? What are your thoughts on him?
No, it wasn't nothing wild. When David Benavidez fought Ronald Graville here the first time in Las Vegas, I was waiting at the bottom of the steps after he won to get out of the ring. Because I wanted to ask him when we're going to fight. I want to fight when we're going to do this. And he said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but Samson was right there. And David Benavidez walked off to the back. And Samson said, you need a couple more fights. And David Benavidez needs a couple more fights. He doesn't have the experience that you have, Caleb. He hasn't fought. He doesn't have the amateur pedigree. He doesn't have the experience that you've had. And, he's got the size on you and stuff like that. But as far as his boxing skill, we're going to need to get him a couple more fights, And that's just what he told me. That's his promoter. Clearly when they're around him, they're telling him other stuff. But when David's not around, they're saying different things. So I think David should look left and right before he crosses the street with the people he's around because, they're telling him one thing, but behind closed doors, they're saying other stuff, that he needs more experience. I know he's a world champion, but that doesn't mean that someone has more experience than another person. You know what I'm saying? Not to compare myself to anyone else or to compare someone to me, but it's like if Lomachenko has less fights than somebody else, that doesn't mean they have the same amount of experience. And again, I'm not comparing myself to nobody. I'm not comparing nobody to me or anything like that. That's just my analogy for people to understand. So that way you don't get well, he's a world champion and you not. Well, I don't really mean shit,
Right.
So I'm waiting. So they need to get this stuff together.
Okay. Now, you being obviously a fighter, you've had obviously when you finish a fight, do you think, and it's become more of a trend now, where people are starting to pick up and do this again. But, immediately after the fight, you'll get another fighter come in the ring and call a guy out.
Yeah.
I mean, your mindset after winning a fight, do you think that's a good time to start that interaction and, go the back and forth?
I could be at the grocery store and I'm not just going to just let somebody talk to me sideways.
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it's like people feel like, oh man, it's a lifesaver. Yes. Yeah, it'll fit. Hold up, I'm getting a charger so I don't die.
All right, cool. Yeah. Let me know. I'll send him an RBR boxing shirt. Tell him thanks.
My man said thank you. This is Uncle T at the Mayweather gym.
All right, that's what's up.
Let me just get it plugged up right here.
Cool.
Cool. Can you? Oh yeah.
Just like, about people calling people out
in life, or fame, or whatever people want to call it. And it's like they feel like they can say whatever they want to you. Like you won't smack the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's ridiculous. That's taking advantage of somebody. It's like, oh well, he's in this position now, so I can say whatever I want, and he can't do nothing about it. That may go for the rest of these dudes, but that don't go for me. That rule don't apply to me. You know what I'm saying?
I think you proved that on Instagram, man. There's a lot of sideways talking. You come right up behind it.
Yeah. I could be checking the mail and I'll smack shit out of somebody for talking to me sideways. And that's not because I'm a bully. That's not because I think I'm better than anyone else. It's because I'm not going to be bullied simply because of the position I'm in. I'm not going to let anyone take advantage of me and feel like they can push me around simply because I may be in the spotlight. People still need to be respectful, and the thing is, people see me talking crazy, right? But they don't see the first stone that was cast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you cast the first stone at me and I reply, that's not bullying somebody. I'm saying I'm a grown ass man. I don't bully nobody, but at the same time, I'm a grown ass man. I'm not going to be bullied by anybody. So these people keep casting the first stone, and I reply, and then we talk. They want to talk about business. They want to talk shit, but they don't want to talk about fighting. That's all I'm interested in talking about. So, as far as fighters getting up in the ring, it's hard to say what you would do in a position until you're in that position. If you get in a street fight, what are you going to do? Well, you don't know until you get in that position.
Right.
So, if I'm in the ring, I'm all about building fights. I'm all, or whatever. I'm all
the promotional
about
side. Mm-hmm.
Going, whatever it may be. But I have a boundary just like everyone else has a boundary. I'm no different than anyone else. I feel pain like everybody else as far as in life. You know what I'm saying? I have emotional boundaries. I have boundaries as a man that I'm not going to let nobody cross. And if somebody crosses them, then, we'll have to just go from there. But as far as people getting in the ring, it's cool. But at the same time, you gotta draw a line on it too. So
draw a line somewhere. Okay. Someone was asking a little bit before, and now that you mentioned you're at the Mayweather gym, who are some of the guys that you've worked with recently or worked with today, maybe? And the name J. Leon Love has come up a couple times. I mean, is that a fight that at all piques your interest?
Yeah, I mean, me and him, I'm not. First, just clear the air. I'm not signing Mayweather Promotions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have a misconception. I'm in here sometimes to spar, but I train at City Boxing. I don't even train here. I come in here to spar sometimes. Between camps, I come in here to train. During camp, we come to spar here sometimes. But yeah, I've sparred people like, Kevin Newman, Andrew Tabiti. I was able to get Jay Leon to spar with me once. Because I don't care about really sparring people who are in my weight division. At the end of the day, when the bell rings on fight night, that's a whole other game. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can look good on the heavy bag or in sparring. It takes a different type of mentality to pull that together and keep that composure under the light. So, yeah, a lot of dudes come through. I sparred George Groves out here before the Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton 2. McWiggin is Carl Frampton's coach, and McWiggin is he may have left him, but
the last fight he left him.
Yeah, and George Grove is trained by him too, or he was at the time. I don't know what they're doing now. So he was over here. I was sparring with him. So a lot of bodies come in and out. So it's a good place to be.
Okay. Let's scroll through some of these questions. A lot of people mentioning on here. Let's see. Someone said, "Come to the wild card bar. Plant will school the Gale."
Say what?
Someone said, "You'll school the Gale."
You know a little bit about boxing.
Build up the fight and get it. Let's see. It's not right. next world champ. Let's see. Someone said, what do you think your greatest strength in the ring is?
I would think my mentality. I would think my mental fortitude. And that mental fortitude was built over and through situations that, I wouldn't go and redo. I wouldn't go and relive. It's not the cards that I asked for, but it's the cards I was dealt, and I had to play them the best way I knew how. And I think for a lot of people, boxing is the hardest thing they've ever done or been through, is lace up a pair of gloves on fight night. But for me, it's by far not the hardest thing I've had to do. And we can get into it if people want to, but, people know my story a little bit. If they don't, if they want to check it out, that's cool. But just my mental fortitude, my mental composure, and that's just through things that I've been through in life.
Okay. Someone mentioned before as well the name Jesse Hart, and if he was on your radar. I know, with the whole sanctioning body thing and him being on one and you on another or what have you, but you guys have a little bit of history because of the amateurs and stuff like that. Some stuff blew up on social media and Instagram. Tell us a little bit about that and, if you'd ever want to fight him, I guess.
Yeah, so I've known Jesse Hart for a long time, through the amateurs and stuff. Always been a super cool, respectful dude to me. Even once I turned pro and, within my first 10 fights, I fought in Philadelphia quite a bit, Sandstown Casino on FS1 and a couple other places out there, Bethlehem, Reading, Pennsylvania, stuff like that. And that's when Aaliyah was here. And, he would approach me and be like, man, and he would introduce me to his people like, man, this dude is this is my boy right here. We was in the amateurs together. Me and him going to have a big money fight one day. Being super cool and super respectful. He even, I can't remember exactly if he actually held Aaliyah, but I know he's kind of like, ooh, kind of played with her a little bit. He's seen her. And just always giving me a lot of respect. And I'm not really interested in being no friends with people in my weight division, but he was always so respectful to me that anytime I've said his name in an interview or anything like that, I've said it in a different tone than other people out of the respect that he's given me and with Leah. And, the man has treated me with respect. So even though I'm not his buddy, he set the tone for me how to act. So, I'm trying to be a good dude. And then I got asked in the interview before he fought Gilberto Ramirez, would I like to fight the winner? I said, if Jesse Hart wins, I'd love to fight Jesse Hart. If Gilberto Ramirez wins, I'll fight him. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a fighter.
Right.
People who know me know I'm not scared to fight nobody. And it's like, because I said that, he messaged me on Instagram about, you need to quit. Don't be saying my name in interviews and stuff. You're tarnishing my name. First off, the only person who can tarnish your name or my name is me. The only person who tarnishes my name is myself. The only person who can tarnish your name is yourself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can only tarnish your name. You know what I'm saying? When you lost the fight, that tarnished your name. And I'm not even being disrespectful. That's just the God's honest truth. When you lost, you tarnished your name. I didn't tarnish your name by saying I'll fight you if you win. I didn't say nothing extra. I didn't say nothing crazy. And then he just kind of, it's like all of a sudden he was like a big-time hater, you know what I'm saying? Hopping on social media, just calling me, I'm Jerry, you're Jerry Cooney, I'm this person, you're Jerry Corbin, I'm this person. Look, I ain't none of them dudes, and I don't fight like none of them dudes. And all the dudes that he was naming off that he's like, he ain't like none of them. Mm-hmm. So everything you're saying has no leverage and it's completely irrelevant. Either we're talking facts or we're not. And if we ain't, I don't even really feel like talking.
Right.
And just want to talk crazy, you know what I'm saying, putting himself on social media. So it's like he did a complete 180, which is cool. We ain't got, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with not being friends. But it's just like, just the fact that it was a complete 180 that kind of happened overnight simply because I said I'd fight him if he won. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. People be doing a lot of things to get some likes on social media, to get their clout up. You feel me? And so whatever. I mean, if he's calling himself a boxing guy, but if he was a boxing guy, why would he be calling me out? I ain't even a world champ. I'm just little Caleb Plant from Tennessee. If you a boxing guy, why are you talking about my name?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So he's trying to build back up. I mean, he had a title shot. But if that happened again, would that be a fight that you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. Caleb Plant don't run high duck dodge from nobody. But it was just a weird situation. I didn't really understand it, but, you know, the man set the tone on how to act. So, you know, when we see each other, I don't know how to act. So.
All right. Now, someone asked while you were telling the background story, he was talking about Jesse Hart. A couple people asked who Caleb was talking about. But moving on, you were at a fight recently. Chris Colbert fought Austin Dulé, who is from Tennessee also. He was asking what your thoughts were on Chris Colbert in that fight. And, you know, how did you see that go down?
Austin Dulé is my boy. You know what I'm saying? Anybody watching, you know, I still you know, encourage y'all to go follow him. You know, whatever. But Chris Colbert, you got to tip your hat off to the man. He boxed beautifully. My man knows how to, you know, change speeds. He knows how to change direction. He can box out of both stances. He's fast. He's got good reflexes, good defense. He's got a good offense. He don't get caught up in head games. He layers his punches. He changes levels. I mean, the kid's got a lot of talent. You know, the kid's got a lot of talent. You know, as long as he stays focused, he's got a good team. His trainer Sosa, very good dude. As long as Colbert just keeps in mind when to turn that switch on and off of being bold and brash, and don't let it get to his head. He stays focused in training and remembers, you know, what's most important. You know, I think he's gonna keep his O for a while. You know what I'm saying? So for a long time.
All right. Yeah, a lot of people can. If you don't know Chris Colbert, you can check him out on the Netflix documentary Counterpunch. That's a real cool film. But Jordan Hardy actually dropped a question that I was going to ask as well. How do you see your future in moving up? Do you see yourself staying at 168 for a while? Are you comfortable at the weight? Do you have any aspirations of moving up?
Who asked this?
Jordan Hardy.
Man, man, y'all gonna get on to her. Y'all need to go get on her. Yeah, you know, I'm about 174 right now. I fight at 168. I'm in shape. I don't get big and bloated and all that other stuff. This is my only job. This is all I do. So I'm gonna win a world title at 168. The IBF. I don't care if I forgot to fight Jose Uzagategui for it. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna win the IBF. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna unify against David Benavidez. If there's some big money fights at 160, I'll go down to 160. I hang out there. I'll move back up to 68, and then I'll finish out at 175. So, you know, at the same time, you got to play it by ear. You got to see how things work. You know, nothing's set in stone. But, you know, if we're just talking, you know, hypothetically or what ifs, then, you know, those are some potential things that can happen, you know, so.
Okay, cool. Now, you mentioned, you know, Tennessee and knowing Austin Dulé, but what prompted your move? You're in Las Vegas. What prompted your move from Tennessee to Vegas?
Besides that Jordan Hardy girl?
Oh, I don't know the story.
No, you know, I don't think it's a big secret. There's a lot of sparring out here, especially compared to Tennessee. But yeah, a big part, you know, is me and what Jordan got. You know, it's something real. It's something serious. We're on the same page. You know, in a world full of little Uzis and little pumps. You know what I'm saying? She's a J. Cole in a big crit. So, you know, I respect that. And you know, it was the right move. Sometimes you outgrow places. Sometimes you outgrow things. Sometimes you outgrow people. And I just felt like I outgrew where I was, and it was time for me to make a move. And time for us to make a move. So came out here, planted my feet, you know, taking over these gyms. And, yeah, we're just building, we're growing, you know. She's doing her thing on FS1. She'll be debuting on Fox this Saturday for the Josecito Lopez, I think, versus somebody. Should be whoever's fighting. She's debuting on Fox this Saturday, so tune in. You know, we're on a mission. We destined to build an empire, so that's what we're doing. Just laying bricks day by day. You know, empire can't be built alone, and I got a hustler beside me who's wanting to do it with me. So, you know, within the next 2 years, we got some big things planned outside of boxing that we're going to try to bring to the world. So, just hope y'all stay tuned.
Cool. So. Shout out to your musical analogy as well. Big crit. That's what's up. Let's talk a little bit about a couple outside the box questions, let's say. And actually, Kemp Boxing asked a good question. We'll jump into mine right before this one. But he said, who did you study a lot growing up in terms of boxing?
Say again, you kind of cut out.
Who did you study growing up? Like what type of boxers?
Man, I really like Terry Norris. I like Meldrick Taylor. James Toney's like, he might be my favorite all time. James Toney. I really like Floyd. Just the IQ, you know, skillful people, athletic people, you know, mentally strong people. Roberto Duran, Andre Ward. Who else? Let's see. A lot of those people.
As far as style wise, do you like you know, try to take anything from the greats? Anyone in particular?
Absolutely. But I try not to just take things from people who fight just like me. You know, I try to, you know, I'll steal this thing from this person, steal that thing from that person. And they don't even necessarily have to fight like me, but then I'll just implement it into my own thing. I'll put a little twist on it, onto my own thing. And I really feel like I got my own style. You know, I know people may say they see glimpses of this or that, but at the end of the day, I really like Pernell Whitaker too.
Okay.
But, you know, and just have my own style, do my own thing at the end of the day. I'm not trying to be like nobody else. I don't want to be like nobody else. I'm the first Caleb Plant. I don't want to be the second nobody else. So.
Word. Just to recap, AMA Mondays here with Caleb Plant. Go ahead and drop your questions. He's answering everything you guys are asking. We're trying to get to everything. A lot of people are commenting right now. So a couple quick questions for you outside the box. We got about 10 minutes left. So the first one is, and you said you're always on weight and stuff like that, but what's your favorite cheat food, whether it's after weigh-in or maybe on your time off?
Yeah. There's a place that we like to eat out here. It's called Hot and Juicy. It's like a crawfish place. They got, you know, crab legs and shrimp and crawfish. You know, just kind of like a Louisiana almost type.
Okay.
You know, crab boil type place. It's super good. I like ribs, southern food, you know, greens, yams, cornbread, stuff like that. So.
All right, that's what's up. Who's the better dresser, you or Jordan Hardy?
She know what the deal is, man.
She might still be watching.
Yeah, she watching. If she's still watching, then we'll let her put it down. Tell me what she says. We'll come back to that. Jordan Hardy, if you're watching, let them know who.
She said me. There you go. She commented.
She's a damn lie. We're gonna settle this when we get home. I'll settle that.
Next question, a dream fight. If you could pick anyone right now in boxing, just one person. I know you mentioned before you don't care as long as you're strapping up, but if you could say one fight, who would it be?
I think at the end of the day, like I said, it don't really matter to me, but and somebody said Roy Jones too. Yeah, I used to watch Roy Jones a lot. But I think people really want to see me and David Benavidez fight. You know, he's a young dude. I'm a young dude. We probably the two youngest in the whole division. You know, he's a big offensive dude who comes forward. People know how I fight. It's a stylistic matchup. And like I said, we some of the two youngest dudes at the top of the sport right now. So that's the fight people are asking for. I think we should give it to him. But, you know.
For sure, yeah. That's something that gets a lot of comments when we post to both of your names get dropped, you know, simultaneously. So I agree. That's something that people are looking forward to. The last two quick questions are the one thing you love most about boxing and the one thing you hate most about boxing.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm going to say boxing is perfect in every way. There are no negatives about boxing. People involved in boxing give boxing a bad rap. But boxing in its purest form is perfect in every way. There are no bad things about boxing, period. End of discussion. And that's not an argument with anybody. End of discussion. Boxing is perfect in every way. It's the people of the world who mess boxing up or give bad decisions or, you know, they cheat or they lie or they get caught using steroids or, you know, the judges are corrupt or the promoters are corrupt or, you know, managers are fucking over fighters or whatever it may be. That's not boxing. Boxing didn't do that. People did that. Boxing itself is perfect.
All right.
All times. But I don't think it's fair when probably the least thing is like promoters or managers you know, getting over on fighters, which I don't have to worry about that. And really nobody under the PPC banner does, because Al, you know, the things he does for his fighters, and, you know, he really it's fighters first in his head. You know, that's why you don't see him out and about. He lets his fighters have the shine. He pays them fairly. Anybody who has anything bad to say about Al, either one, they not signed to him, or two, they're not doing their job. And if you're not doing your job to the best of your ability, then you can't expect to be getting out free, you know, being handed freebies and getting opportunities. If you're not making the most of it, then, you know, can't nobody help you more than you help yourself. So,
but to that point though, we've had a couple fighters on, and it's been across the board. Everyone's spoken highly of Al Haymon. So you got to agree with everyone, especially if they're talking to him directly. They have, you have a relationship with him. That's the most that we can take from you.
Absolutely.
Everyone says the same thing.
When Aaliyah was in the hospital, he called me and checked on her. When Aaliyah passed away, he called to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. He got how many fighters? But, I don't know if maybe he looks at me differently or what, but it don't matter. The point is, for a man in high power as he is, who is as busy as he is, to take time out of his day to check on me, to check on her, that says a lot about a man's character. I ain't talking about boxing shit. I ain't talking about business. I'm talking about as a man's character. That says a lot about it, so.
All right. Kemp Boxing has another good question, I think. He's asking, what drills do you do in training to enhance your ring IQ? And I think that's something that follows you along, because a lot of people see your boxing ability, your ability to adapt. So, I mean, is there anything in particular you do?
Film. And that's not necessarily like on your opponent, but I'm at least for me, this is my opinion. I love watching fights, and I imagine myself what I would do, what I wouldn't do. The way has been paved out for everybody on how to do things, on how to not do things. No matter what you're doing, whether you're an interviewer like yourself with all the things you got going on, whether it's for me, boxing, me as a man, me as a, when I had Aaliyah as a father, the way has been paved for us on the do's and the don'ts. It's that people, pay attention to that. It's that people take note of that and actually apply it. And if you ain't taking note of things and applying it, you're not going to grow. So just watching old fights, watching my favorite fighters, and then I take it into shadow boxing the next day and I implement it. My coach says something new, I implement it. I take it into shadow boxing, I take it into sparring, I actually try it. And I feel like a lot of these fighters, the coaches are on their ass about doing this or doing that, but they're not implementing it. And if you're not implementing new things, then you're just going to remain the same. You can't grow, you're just growing old. So just implementing it into shadow boxing, implementing it into sparring, that's what it's about. If you're not implementing it, then what the fuck are you doing?
Right. King Fax, he asking when's the next fight. He actually discussed that a little bit earlier. He said around July they're looking at something. So we'll have more information on that. Just a heads up to everyone in case you joined late or you had to drop off. This will be in its entirety on our YouTube page, so you can see all the answers that Caleb's provided. A lot of people asking different questions, and he's gotten to a lot of these answers. I want to talk a little bit about, before we go, first off, shout out to Mario Serrano, who helped us set this up. I know we were going back and forth a lot. You both are busy guys. He's a busy guy. You're a busy guy. So we appreciate the time that you're taking. But also, I want to talk a little bit about your team, your trainer. Tell us who your trainer is and stuff like that. Give them a little light and let people know.
My head trainer, Justin Gamber. A student, in every essence of the word, or the words, whatever you want to call it, a true student of the game. He's got thousands of boxing, matches on DVD that we study. He's got 1,000 gifs on his phone of short clips of, Canelo rocking back and hitting Cotto and then rolling under a punch, or things of Lomachenko, things of, Jorge Linares, just every day it's something new. Oh, check out what I did. And just the small things like that make a difference. He's only interested in getting better. He's never content with where we're at, where I'm at, where he's at. And when you got a coach like that who's always trying to get better, then how are you not going to get better if you're a student who listens and a student who wants to get better? That's just a team who's going to keep rising. And then, of course, my dad, my father, who's been with me since the beginning, who was my head coach throughout my whole amateur career. I turned pro. Justin came in, and we had been training with Justin forever, training in his classes and working alongside my dad. We let Justin take that position. My dad still has every bit of say-so as Justin does. My dad talks in the corner just like Justin does. And, we mesh well. And we don't have no arguments. There ain't no disagreements because we know what the goal is. So Justin Gamber, my dad, my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Wade, Larry Wade, who also is a strength and conditioning coach of Sean Porter and Badu Jack. And Badu Jack, he just moved up a weight division and stopped the champ, made him quit, no mas. That says a lot about not just his boxing ability, but his strength and conditioning. A way to move up in a weight and punish the champ like that. That says a lot about the strength and conditioning coach. I think a lot of people forget about that. And then, of course, with Sean Porter, who's always on go, if I can take those things that we're doing and implement it in with my speed and my IQ and my boxing ability, that's a tough team to beat. And then, of course, I got a good woman on my side at home. Jordan Hardy, she don't dress as good as me, but, just someone who supports me, somebody who's there for me, whether it's she makes all my meals, makes all my shakes, comes to the track, comes to the gym, comes to sparring, somebody who prays for me, you feel me? And that's just, once you get in camp, the lady's job isn't easy. She's got a lot on her plate. It's not just me in camp. We both going into camp. We both got a lot to do. So, and even on the business side, as far as sponsorship, she don't have nothing to do with my fight. She don't have nothing to do with negotiating nothing. She ain't got shit to do with that. But just as far as us going out on our own for sponsors, helping me stay organized, that is appreciated. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure. Were you working with Snack at all? I feel like you. Okay.
Also, yeah, like you said, can't forget about that. Huge shout out to Victor Conte with Snack. The dude is a for real scientist. I can't understand what Victor's saying half the time, but he's got no pun intended, he's got it down to a science. You know what I'm saying? And everything counts at the top level. If right. Me and you is just as fast as each other, boxing IQ is just as sharp as each other's, but I was doing the small things. I was doing the little things. Those things make a difference, My dad always says since I was a kid, my dad's been very hard on me since I was a little one. Everything has to be right. Everything has to be right. From your hydration to your supplements to your training, strength conditioning, your running, everything, bag works, everything has to be right. And he has just pounded that in my head for 25 years since I came out into this world. And I've got the team around me to do it. I got my publicist, Mario, my manager, Luis Tacubas, who's like a big brother to me, and it's just about everybody's on the same page. We just all interested in getting to the top. And when you have a whole team who's on the same page like that, it's hard to stop that. That's God's plan.
For sure. Boxing Junkie, what's up, man? We're going to wrap things up in a couple minutes. I want to give you the platform now to kind of just tell us from your perspective, we're almost midway through the year. What's your outlook for the rest of this year? Where do you want to be in 2019? And, tell everyone outside of not just Instagram, but where they can follow you and check you out and all that stuff on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Let the people know.
Yeah, the rest of the year just foretells somebody to get to raise their hand to say, okay, let's fight, And hopefully something in, the end of July, beginning of August, whether it's Jose Usagatagi or, fighting somebody to become the number one contender in the IBF because I'm number 2, but the number 1 spot is vacant. Right now I'm number 5 in the WBA, so we may go over try to get somebody to that would make me the mandatory for Tyrone. What's his name? Say again.
Yeah, Tyrone.
Z. It starts with a Z. I can't.
Zege or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. To become the mandatory for him, or just to fight somebody to become the number 1 contender in the IBF. Like I said, because it's vacant. So we got options. We're just gonna, see what everybody else got to say, because everybody knows what my answer is on my side. So other than that, if you guys aren't familiar with me or my story, y'all just tuning in, I encourage y'all to go download my app. It's a free app for Apple and Android. It's called Sweet Hands, one word, Sweet Hands. It's just a more in-depth way to stay to know about me other than social media. It's got a bio. It's got a Leah story on it. It's got a photo gallery. It's got a fan wall. I have shirts for sale, Sweet Hands shirts. We got from small to XL. I'm about to post the graphic on social media probably sometime this week, so you guys can order shirts from the the app. And there's just a lot of things on there. When I am fighting, that'll be the first place we release it. So if you guys want to be the first to know where I'm fighting, when I'm fighting, download the app, because that's where we're dropping it first. We're going to be dropping more merchandise throughout the year, really trying to work on my branding this year, get my branding up. Other than that, for Twitter, at Sweet Hands Boxing, on Instagram, at Caleb Plant, my Facebook fan page. So, yeah, we got a lot of things in the mix. And we just trying to, like my dad say, have everything right.
That's what's up. And for everyone, in case you forget, I'll do a push notification on our app as well, kind of plug in your app and the gear and stuff like that. We'll remind everyone where they can check you out at. We have the app too, so it's really cool, the Sweet Hands app. Like you said, you're very responsive with the fans and everything like that, so definitely people should check that out. We're watching you though, man. We appreciate the time. We appreciate you always engaging with us, and I know it was a long time coming trying to connect, but glad that we finally had you on. Like I said, this will be on YouTube in its entirety. People can check you out. And right before your next fight or after, we hope to link up again, man.
Definitely. We'll hop back on here again. I appreciate the fans. The fans is what makes boxing possible. And I feel like a lot of these fighters aren't giving y'all what y'all deserve. I'm out here trying to do that. I hope you guys continue to be patient with me and follow my journey. And I just appreciate all you. I appreciate you as well, man.
My man, I appreciate it. All right. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.